It's the Subway NFL postgame show exclusively here on CBSSports.com. After a 10-6 halftime Dallas lead, well, that's not anywhere close to what the final was. 37-20, the Cowboys rout the Dolphins in Miami and get to 2-0 on the season thanks to a very balanced offensive attack. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz alongside NFL.com's Pat Kirwan and CBS Sports Insider Charley Casserly. And, Pat, let's start right there. Balance offensively for Dallas. They had it in Week 1. They had it again in Week 2.
Yeah, terrific play calling by Jason Garrett. Love the way he's building this thing. 29 passes today for Romo. And I'm starting to see a shift, a little bit more interest in Barber carrying the ball. 14 carries for him today, 15 for Jones, but Barber delivers with a big number average per run, and I think he had 89 yards rushing. So we see two running backs. I see Jason Garrett starting to like him, and distribution in the passing game. They're playing without Terry Glennon. They've got 82 points in 2 games.
Absolutely fantastic, and he averaged that. That's 41 points a game. You're going to win a lot of ball games. Unless you're playing the Cleveland Browns in Week 2, because you don't win that way. 41 points. But, Charlie, on the other side of that, Miami had 13 in an overtime game last week against Washington. And this week, other than a tip ball in the end zone, which, you know, they scored a touchdown, so they scored 20, but really 13 legitimate points in this ball game. Is it the fact that they can't run the football that they're having a problem on offense, or is it something Trent Green's doing?
Well, first of all, you're turning the ball over. That's not going to help you anyway. But, you know, get back here. The offensive line is average. They don't have explosiveness at the outside position, so they can't threaten deep. They had a couple of efficient drives in this ball game where they picked on the outside of the Dallas defense on the corner position, which that's a weakness. But you beat yourself here, and you can't get big plays downfield. Eventually the corners will squat on you. You saw an interception in this game because of that with Anthony Henry. So somehow in here they got to get Ted Ginn involved in the offense to stretch the defense, and they've got to somehow find a way to improve their running game, but that's going to be hard with this offensive line. 5
turnovers. You mentioned you alluded to the turnover problem. 5 turnovers. Dallas had 0. Ted Ginn Jr. on kicks and then punt returns, not really doing much to this point. On the other side, Miami's known for having a good defense, but they're not stopping the running game at all, Week 1 or Week 2. Why?
Well, I went back and looked at the first game against Washington, and I was tipped off by a Washington player. Go look at our inside running game. We were able to get some movement on the tackles, and I think that the kid that they just got from the Jets, they've helped them inside. So I think when the Dallas Cowboys watched that tape, they said, let's work on our inside running game. When you watch Marion Barber today, there was some terrific runs inside, a lot of good work against the tackles. And if you can move the tackles in the NFL and get a blocker up to the Mike Backer, you're going to experience success.
Charlie, real quickly, Dallas is 2-0. They'll play Chicago 2-0. That's next week. That's a game that you can see a breakdown quickly on the review of the Chicago-Kansas City game here on CBSSports.com. But the flip side of that, Miami's 0-2. The Jets are 0-2. They play in Week 3. Only 2 teams since '93 have started 0-3 and made the playoffs. Quickly break down the Jets and Dolphins.
Well, I think what you see there is improvement from both teams. Despite what we said here with the Dolphins with the turnovers, you did start to see a little bit of a pass offense. The Dolphins just have to stop beating themselves. And who's going to be the quarterback next week? Kelly Clemens looked pretty good in that last quarter. The Dolphins, I think, are a better team than the Jets, but who's going to turn the ball over least might determine this one.
That seems to be the theme in the NFL here in Week 2. Folks, that's the Subway postgame show here on CBSSports.com. For a breakdown of all the other games here in Week 2, be sure to keep it right here and navigate your way through the page. For Pat Kirwan and Charley Casserly, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care.